The cop helped me carrying the heavy box all the way to the car. Before going, he used a roll of police tape around the box, only letting the on-off switch, the VGA and the USB port uncovered. The energy cable was outside already. I thanked him for the help, and went home. I arrived late at night, so I immediately went to sleep. The next day I woke up and started working on the DVR. I left it in my room as I still live with my mom. First I concluded that all the excess weight was probably due to a large battery inside. I plugged a monitor and a mouse to it, as I could see it was still on. The DVR was a very good one, with up to 12 cameras. All the cameras were unplugged when I took it from the wall, but in the dark I forgot to count how many there were. The first thing I noticed is that the DVR was accusing problems with connection. That was weird, since the thing shouldn't have any connection. As I started examining the connection status, I found out that it was indeed trying to connect to the Wi-Fi connection, that now had limited access. I assumed that somewhere inside the metal box, there was a Wi-Fi routing a 3G chip. That was the only way someone could get internet in that area. I closed all the connections for the time being. I then searched for around a month ago. The cameras were completely still, and there was no movement. I realized there were 10 cameras on at that place. That's an absurdly big number for a farmhouse. I set all of them for motion only, and set it for a faster speed. All of them went dark. The footage slows down, as I see the camera 11 flickering on and off. There was too much static on it, so I couldn't see. Some seconds later, it starts going fast again. Camera 11 didn't flicker anymore. In fact, it didn't even seem gone. In the space of what would be like almost 2 days, the image did not have any motion detection, so all I could see was black. However, the camera feed went on suddenly. Cameras 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were clearly outside cameras, as they were activated by rain falling on their lenses by the morning. All of them were around the house, each one viewing the side of the house. Camera 1 was viewing the main wooden gate. Camera 2 was mounted in a motorized base. This camera was able to see a landfill at the side of the house, and in the distance, some animal pens could be seen, and had a good look at all the cameras. Camera 6 was in the concreted area outside. Camera 7 was in the living room, recording the sofa and the main door. Camera 8 was viewing the corridor inside the house. Camera 9 was at the kitchen. Camera 10 was viewing the bedroom. Inside the bedroom, there was another wooden door. As the door was opened, I could see a bathroom inside. I accelerated the footage, until I saw an old truck parking outside of the wooden gate. From there, 2 people got out. An old guy, and a younger guy. They walked inside the fence and started walking inside the house. I could see that the older guy was showing the house to the younger one. I could hear a faint sound coming from my sound system. I turned the volume up. Voices. The whole system was filled with high-grade microphones in every camera. I watched as they went outside and the older dude started giving instructions to the younger man. The older man finally went away, leaving the young dude there. I started getting bored, so I accelerated the footage. Whole days went by in minutes for me, as I observed the man's routine through the days. I then realized something. Camera 8, at the corridor, would go offline sometimes. I then stopped the system and went to check. I won't get into particulars, but it would seem as every day, the camera didn't went offline for 3 or 4 hours on the afternoon by itself. Thing is, someone had deliberately got into the system and erased those particular parts. I then searched for all the footage on camera 8 for that specific time. I then started reviewing it. The camera would go offline around 1 p.m., and would go back online around 3 or 4 p.m. That's until I saw it. Whoever was erasing it wasn't very smart. He managed to erase the DVR log, but he forgot to erase all of the days. So, on a Wednesday for the guy, I could see what happened. After lunch, the man went outside to the animal pens. He got a chicken and went into a small barn behind the house. From there he got out with a bucket filled with chicken parts. He went into the house, and got in front of the locked door at the corridor. He used a key to open one of the padlocks at the door, and a smaller door opened. Almost like a prison door. The man then threw parts of the chicken inside, closed the small door, and locked it. I was lost for words. Maybe the dude kept an animal inside that room, like a big dog. I had seen my share of weird people, so I thought nothing more of it. My thoughts were to why would anyone delete the footage. I went back to the previous viewing. The 10 cameras on again. I then felt a bit hungry, and went downstairs to get something to eat. I accidentally left the footage going. I ended up forgetting about it, and even went out with my friends. I came back late at night. When I went into my bedroom, I could see the footage still going. Now at night I sat on the chair looking at the video. The image was very clear, almost as if all the lights were on. That's when I realized, the house had infrared spotlights all over the property. That's very extreme for a rural property. Camera 11 started to come in and out of existence. I got closer to the screen as it finally stayed on. All I could see was a gray room, completely empty, with only stone stairs at the side. The place had no visible windows, but also had an infrared spotlight. Then it went offline again. I was weirded out by the whole situation already. A loud metallic bang went by the sound system. I stared at the corridor camera as it got the noise again. The dude was a heavy sleeper, didn't even move with the noise. I then stopped the footage and called it a day. The next day, I woke up early, got a cup of coffee and started viewing the footage again. The speed was good, and the days were going normal. Then I saw the man staring at the metal door in the morning. I quickly got to normal speed again. He was now examining one of the padlocks, the one he probably didn't have the key to. I say that, because sometime later the man came back with a bunch of tools. He tampered with the padlock until it finally gave into a wrench. The dude then got a heavy wrench and went through the door. I raised the corridor camera volume. Nothing. The man comes back 2 minutes later. I then see the motion detection of the living room camera going on and off once, really fast. There was nothing on the video feed. The man closes the door and manages to put the padlock on once again. He then says, "Crazy fucking old man." He then goes on the usual routine for the day. I accelerated the footage slightly. Now, the corridor camera goes offline as usual. Night falls, and the man goes to sleep. As he is sleeping, I see the motion sensors going on and off on the cameras around the house. I stop and rewind the video, observing it again. On the video, even with the lights of the infrared spotlights, I could see nothing. I even took a note. The motion sensors are malfunctioning. I then hear a loud bang at the side of the house. Camera 9, the one at the kitchen, got most of the noise. The man wakes up, turns on all the lights and goes out with a gun. He then starts screaming while going around the house. "I will get you, motherfucker, where are you?" He keeps going around the house, goes to the animal pens, and then comes back. He locks all the doors, and keeps the gun at his side as he sleeps. The next day went as usual, and so did the next. When I looked at the time, it was night already. I left the footage on as I went to prepare my bed. I then sat down at the chair again, to turn the whole thing off. There, it was night already, and the dude was asleep. When I looked one more time to all cameras, my heart began pounding. At the living room, next to the main door, there was this tall black figure. Almost like a black sheet lifted around 2 meters in the air. I stopped the footage and rewinded to check if the dude had put it there. No, it appeared at around 3 a.m. out of nowhere. I felt this horrible feeling. I knew whatever it was, it just felt wrong. Then the thing raised an elongated black arm, and pointed in the direction of the camera. I immediately closed everything and went to bed. At night I felt like something was wrong. I even closed the blinds of my window, even though I live on the 2nd floor. I was scared, and at the time I didn't know if it was a figure of my imagination, but It was almost morning when I finally went to sleep. I woke up for lunch, and forced myself to go back to work. I started the footage from that morning. I didn't want to see whatever that thing was again. The dude woke up and went to work as usual. Even during the day now, the motion sensors would go on and off even though there was nobody there. The dude came back for the night. I accelerated the footage, until that thing appeared once again. This time, It was in his room. It stayed there, staring at him. The man then woke up and went to the bathroom, apparently not noticing the thing right by his bed. He laid down again, and went back to sleep. The thing started turning to the camera again. I quickly turned the feed off, and started it again on the next recording day. The day began as usual, but this time something happened. The dude went into the kitchen, stood there for some seconds, said something, went back to his room. He then came back to the kitchen. I rewinded the tape and raised the volume. The man said, "What did I came to do here?" I found it weird. The dude repeated that 3 or 4 times during the day, in different tasks. Then he went to bed. This time, there was no dark figure. The motion sensors were going absolutely crazy. Aside from that, the night went by with no incidents. At morning, the man took his time to get out of bed, 2 hours in fact. He went into the kitchen and first thing he says, "What did I came to do here?" He keeps an empty stare the whole time. Goes back to his room and tries again. This time he does breakfast and goes to work. He became weird as the day progressed, forgetting things and talking to himself. The day finally ended and he went to bed. At night, around 3 a.m. he wakes up. He starts walking around the house slowly, almost as if he is twitching at every movement. He then opens the front door, stops at it, and keeps looking outside with an empty stare. He does that for the next 2 hours, without moving. He then leaves the door open and goes to his room. He lays on the bed and stays there for some good hours. I was very disturbed at this point, but nothing could prepare me for what was coming. When the dude woke up, he just went outside. He then proceeded to release all the pigs in the farm. Some even got inside the house, as the door was opened. He then comes inside again, closing the door with the pigs inside. The man starts talking to the pigs, as if they were humans. His voice going grave sometimes, as if the man was drunk. He stays sitting on the floor at his bedroom talking to the pigs. One of the pigs defecates on the floor. The man removes his pants and does the same. He stays there, sitting on the floor. Night comes. The man stands up, and starts walking slowly to the front door. He goes outside. Camera 2 can see a big pig sitting on the landfill. The man comes behind the pig and grabs it. The pig starts squealing. The man then rapes the pig. Rapes the fucking pig. The pig ends up defecating and biting him. After that, the pig runs away screaming. The man then returns to his room, and lays on his bed. At morning, stains of feces and blood could be seen on his sheets. He woke up at around 1 p.m., and stood up. First thing he does, is kneeling next to a pile of his own feces. He then proceeds to eat his own feces littered with flies. After that, he stands up, and goes around the property. He comes back from the animal pens with 4 small piglets. He closes the main door and releases the animals. The man proceeds to try to dress them in his own clothes. Gets visibly distressed when they don't wear it. One of them ends up defecating. The man stops everything and eats the feces from the pig. He then screams in anger. A bigger pig that was laying around gets all his rage. The small piglets squeal as the larger one gets raped and is kicked to death. Then he proceeds to opening the poor animal, taking its intestines off, and playing with them before finally eating it. He then steps on 3 of the piglets, and kills the last one, biting its head off. I finally vomit watching it. I stopped the video, and went outside a bit. It was around 5 p.m. already. Decided to call it a day and started to